Best Actress in a Leading Role, we have Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night, Felicity Jones, The Theory of Everything, Julianne Moore, Still Alice, Rosamund Pike, Gone Girl, and Reese Witherspoon for Wild. I think hands down it's going to go to Julianne Moore for Still Alice. Her performance is just breathtaking, and I think her choices are original. I feel like we've seen women in a leading role in which a character has some kind of a disease. But for this one, I just feel like overall we totally watched her just decay, on screen. But because she was such an intelligent, professor and linguist, you can see where it's almost like doggy paddling, trying to survive.
Barely treading water.
But the disease is taking over. Yeah. And I think that is what really resonates. And that's what makes it so real, and that's what makes, her the one to get it this year.
Yeah, and is there any more tragic, devastating disease than Alzheimer's? That has to be the absolute worst, and I thought that movie and her performance really captured that. The scene where she can't even, she's in her own house and she can't even remember where the bathroom is. It's just it's just heartbreaking. You wish you could jump into Alec Baldwin's skin and help her,
Exactly.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking. But in the end, it's kind of a life-affirming movie. It's not, it ends, on a sad note as you might expect, but it's still life-affirming. It's, she has a couple speeches in there where she says, I'm going to get busy living, not dying, more or less, Shawshank line. But so I think it's one of those performances that it's the right role at the right time for her to win. You could say it's kind of her career Oscar because she's never won before. That's why she's cleaning up at all the other awards. You could have given it to her for, her pill-popping addict in Magnolia back in '99, or The Kids Are All Right, or, any role. I thought she was really good as Sarah Palin in Game Change, the HBO movie, too.
Right.
But she's just knocked it out of the park so many times that I think this is the time. Although, let's see, who else was on the list? I thought Reese was great, but she's already won with Walk the Line. So I think in the weird way of Oscars doing everything, they kind of cancel that out and say it's Moore's turn.
Right.
And Rosamund Pike, I thought was still the most, 20 years from now, you're going to remember her in terms of what shocked you the most and stays in your mind. It's going to be like when we look back at 1987, and we're like, I don't remember who won, but Glenn Close was terrifying in Fatal Attraction, you know what I mean? So even though she's not going to win, that's how we're going to remember Pike. So in a way, it could be like, come on, Oscar, let's award the one we're going to remember with Pike, but it's going to be Julianne Moore.
We know that it's politics, and we know that a lot of times the Academy votes, like you said, based on, who has more time in our industry and who has been doing this for years and just hasn't gotten it.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Exactly. But at the same time, Julianne Moore does deserve it.
Absolutely.
But Rosamund Pike, like you said, she's such a close second. Definitely one of the most memorable lead actress performances of 2014.
Sure.
And as we said before, just the way that she plays 2 or 3 different roles in one film.
She's acting in that,
Exactly. It's just amazing. So I really look forward to seeing more from Rosamund Pike just based off of that.
Sure.
Felicity Jones, the Theory of Everything, I think she did a great job.
Similar to the Keira Knightley thing.
Right, exactly. And that's what I was going to say. I think that standing next to the man that, I think the story of Stephen Hawking and his wife in general, that relationship that you see when Val's sicker or richer and poorer, sickness and health, and you see from health to sickness and sticking together, that is an amazing story. But
whether they're married or divorced or whatever, she stays with him, that bond. It's interesting, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that kind of is more what's more intriguing, but like we said with Knightley, it's not necessarily, blown away. Marion Cotillard, oh my goodness. I saw 2 Days, One Night at the Middleburg Film Festival, and it was just,
nice.
I was blown away. Yeah, and so it's funny because when we saw it, it kind of got cut off at a certain point in the film where it really did look like the movie could have been over, but it actually had a little bit more time.
Sopranos? What is going on? No Country for Old Men? Cut to black? Okay.
Right. But
just something wrong with the projector or something?
I think so. Yeah. Nonetheless, I got to see all of it later, And I was just like blown away at both times.
Sure.
Like, it's just amazing. Her performance is so natural, and it just seems like an everyday person. And I know the directors usually choose unknowns for the films, and so I think she just fit in. You wouldn't know that she's like Dior model or anything like that. Like, so she did an excellent job.
And I remember when the nominees were announced, a lot of people that was the one that surprised a lot of people. And there were so many people saying, oh man, Jennifer Aniston got gypped.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. No, Jennifer Cake did not deserve to be in I mean, good on Jennifer to do a serious role and everything, but I was totally fine with this because, I mean, she's done so many great roles. I think she won for La Vie en Rose a couple years back, so that's probably why she won't win this year too. Plus, it's Julianne Moore's year.
Yeah.
But what was the other one recently? Rust and Bone. I think she was in that. She always brings it.
Right, she definitely does.
And Dark Knight Rises was in that too, remember?
Oh my goodness,
remember that one? The twist? Yeah.
Right.
So she can do the blockbuster thing too.
She can. She's definitely a well-rounded actress, and I look forward to seeing more from her as well. All right, moving right along, we have Best Actor in a Leading Role. We have Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper for American Sniper, Benedict Cumberbatch, The Imitation Game, Michael Keaton, Birdman, and Eddie Redmayne, The Theory of Everything. Jason, who do you think is going to take it?
This is where it gets tricky. All right, so supporting actress, supporting actor, and leading actress, I think, are all locks, right? We know it's J.K. Simmons, Patricia Arquette, and Julianne Moore.
Right.
This one is, if you're following the award season, it's going back and forth, and it's impossible to predict. All right, so at the Globes, Eddie Redmayne wins Best Actor Drama, while Keaton wins Best Actor Comedy.
Right.
And then since then, it's like they've been just trading back and forth between SAG and Critics' Choice and all kinds of stuff. So I mean, in this category, and then you have Bradley Cooper with American Sniper that's really charging on hard and, grossing all this money at the box office. And he gives regardless of what you think of the movie, I really liked it. Some people really didn't. But, I mean, regardless of where you fall, I mean, you have to say his performance was amazing.
Right.
He gets the PTSD thing. And
Yeah.
that scene where we're on his face and you're hearing bombs going off, and then we come around and it's just a blank TV he's staring at.
Right.
It's like Travis Bickle or something. But, yeah, man, this one's tough for me. I think, let me break it down with a will win, should win, could win. How about that?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to say Bradley Cooper could win. Maybe the other two split the vote and he slides in there, and that's a big surprise. He's been nominated a couple times in recent years with Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle with David O. Russell, and now he's proven he can do it with a different director.
Exactly.
With Clint Eastwood, and in a really more dramatic role. Those other ones were kind of comedy/dramas, and he's really funny in some parts of American Hustle and stuff.
Definitely.
But so he'll be my could win. I think my should win, I'm going to say Michael Keaton. I think this is his year, but I think Eddie Redmayne will win. I feel like it's starting to break that way. But this is a total just throwing up in the air.
Yeah.
I hope it's Michael Keaton.
Jason,
I really hope it's Michael Keaton.
People are looking at their computer screen, TV screen, listening to the podcast right now, and are like, Jason, you messed me up.
I'm sorry if I'm wrong, because this one is the one that could go either way.
Right.
I'm hoping it's Michael Keaton. Something tells me it's starting to break the other way. I don't know.
Right, okay.
It's just a bad hunch I have. And I say bad because I really want Keaton to beat Redmayne in this.
Yeah. And
I think this is his time in history, sort of like Mickey Rourke with The Wrestler, and all of a sudden Redmayne's going to do the Sean Penn and beat him. That's what I'm worried about.
Right.
But
I agree with you. I mean, I do think that Michael Keaton should win. And, I don't know if Eddie Redmayne will win. This could be a Norbit. Because I don't know if you saw Jupiter Ascending, but Eddie Redmayne was in it, and oh my goodness, it was the.
Oh, that's a good point.
He should get a Razzie.
Point. Absolutely.
Exactly. So
I hated that movie. Channing Tatum, Mila Kunis, and Eddie Redmayne. Oh yes, here's hoping the Oscar voters saw that.
Exactly.
And will give the push to Michael Keaton.
So to explain what a Norbit is, so Eddie Murphy was up for Best Supporting Actor for Dreamgirls, and at the same time, Norbit came out, and that totally knocked him out when he was like a sure shot for it. In the same way, like Eddie Redmayne, like Stephen Hawking, he goes from healthy, young, vibrant man to unfortunately this disease strikes him, and he's still vibrant, but his body is just totally. I mean, if you just watch that movie on fast forward, it's amazing the transformation he had. So yeah, I could definitely see how it could go to him, but at the same time, I feel like talking about politics and how things go.
Yeah.
It could be the Norbit factor, or it could just be it's Michael Keaton's time.
I totally forgot about the Jupiter Ascending thing. That was literally just came out last Friday, and it got panned so bad, and he wasn't even good in it. I thought he really overacted and
I thought he
got a high pitch, and then
was
really
deplorable.
Yeah, I did too. So yeah, Oscar voters, since we got 2 here,
Right.
go Keaton. That's a good point. It's so tight on my end. I don't even know, man. It's Eddie Redmayne picked up a couple of the big ones recently, and it was making me really frustrated because I think this should be Keaton's year.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, we'll see. And now I did
Let's
notice.
go Keaton.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
We're team.
Put
Keaton.
that on your ballot.
We're team Keaton. All right.
Because I at least want him to win. You think he will, and it's so close. Go Keaton.
Yeah. All right. So the one person I noticed you didn't even mention, and I didn't really think should be mentioned, is Steve Carell, because while he was solid in the role, I don't think that he was mesmerizing, and I think that the props department and the makeup, just kind of helped. And I think sometimes when you can't see the actor anymore because of
it's the Charlize Theron monster.
Exactly.
Thing. If you over change your appearance and do the ugly thing, and sometimes people really like. I mean, it was a good performance. I just didn't even think it was really a lead performance. I thought Channing Tatum was the lead. That's why I thought it was interesting. I thought he'd be up for supporting, but maybe that category was too jam-packed. But
Yeah. So Foxcatcher, Steve Carell. I mean, I'm happy that people are
I'm glad he got
noticing, because he has some great acting chops. That's no question.
The Way Back.
Yeah.
And Crazy Stupid
that's what I
Love.
was about
He's done
to
a
say.
bunch of different cool. Little Miss Sunshine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's great, but I do think that he's far outmatched in this year, definitely with the other 4. And like you said, I agree with Bradley Cooper. I mean, he definitely takes that whole film, puts it on his back, and I mean, I think he just does a great job in taking on that character and just making him human and real, and I think that's why it's done so well for so long in theaters.
And what I didn't realize until I interviewed the author, I interviewed Bradley Cooper too, but I also interviewed the author of the book, American Sniper, and he said that it was Bradley Cooper who has been pushing since day one to do it. That Bradley Cooper called up Chris Kyle, the American Sniper, and said, I want to do this movie. And only because he had such a good track record of doing stuff with the USO and seeing the troops and visiting them at Walter Reed. Like when Silver Linings dealt with mental health, he went to Walter Reed.
Gotcha.
And so it was only because of that Chris Kyle agreed to let him do it. Except he said, you're a little too pretty to play me. I'm going to have to tie you to my truck and drag you around on the back and dirty you up a little bit. That's what he said.
Nice.
But I think that's why we believe the role is because I think he really, from the get-go, before it was even a movie, wanted to do that part.
Right.
But I think the one that's getting lost out, which any other year I think should have won, was Cumberbatch. He's so good in that role.
That is true.
How is he getting left out? But
I
think it's just when you go up against all the Titans.
I think you could have switched out Cumberbatch and put in, or switch out Carell, put in Cumberbatch.
Right. Yeah.